The emergency beacon cut through the silence of deep space like a knife through flesh. Harry Chen checked the coordinates twice before adjusting his salvage ship's trajectory toward the derelict vessel. In 15 years of working the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, he'd learned that distress signals usually meant one of two things: easy salvage or certain death. The wreckage materialized against the star field like a broken tooth. Harry maneuvered his ship, the Reclaimer, through a cloud of frozen debris and docked with the larger vessel's emergency airlock. His scanner showed breathable atmosphere inside, which was unusual for a derelict. Most hulks this far out had been voided for months. "Life signs detected," his AI companion announced in its monotone voice. "3 humanoid forms, biological readings anomalous." Harry's pulse quickened as he sealed his helmet and cycled through the airlock. The corridor beyond was dark except for the crimson glow of emergency lighting. He moved carefully, magnetic boots clicking against the deck plating, his plasma cutter ready in his gloved hand. The ship was a passenger liner, judging by the luxury fixtures now floating in zero gravity. But something was wrong. Scorch marks scarred the walls in patterns Harry recognized from his days in the colonial marines, energy weapon fire, the kind used by the Crixian Collective. He found them in what had once been the observation lounge. 3 figures hung suspended from the ceiling, their long hair drifting like underwater plants in the zero-G environment. They were upside down relative to Harry's orientation, their ankles bound by some kind of bioluminescent restraint that pulsed with a sickly green light. At first glance, they appeared human, slender builds, pale skin, feminine features. But as Harry's headlamp swept across them, he noticed the subtle differences. Fingers slightly too long, eyes set just a fraction too wide, skin that seemed to shimmer with an opalescent quality in the light. Alien, but not any species he recognized from the galactic registry. Harry approached cautiously, checking for traps. The closest figure stirred, her eyelids fluttering. As she opened her eyes, they reflected his headlamp like a cat's, brilliant amber with vertical pupils. "Please," she whispered in accented standard English, "help us." Before Harry could respond, he noticed something on her exposed shoulder, a tattoo that made his blood run cold. It was a complex geometric pattern, a series of interlocking hexagons with a star at the center. He'd seen that exact symbol only once before, 6 years ago, when his exploration team had been trapped in a collapsed mining shaft on Titan. They'd been dying, oxygen running out, when a mysterious figure had appeared in the darkness. Harry had been delirious with hypoxia, barely conscious, but he remembered the glowing hands that had torn through solid rock like it was paper. He remembered being carried to safety. And he remembered the tattoo on the rescuer's arm, illuminated briefly by emergency lights before the figure vanished into Titan's methane storms. "You," Harry breathed, staring at the symbol, "your people, one of you saved my life." The alien woman's eyes widened with recognition. "You are Harry Chen, Explorer Designation 774 Alpha, Titan Incident, Colonial Year 2387. How do you?" "We know all those we save," she interrupted urgently. "Please, you must release us before they return. I am called Elsa by your linguistic standards. These are my sisters Neera and Tess. We are Lumini from the Vale Nebula sector." Harry's mind raced. The Lumini were legendary, almost mythical beings that supposedly dwelled in the uncharted regions beyond known space. Traders whispered stories about them in station bars, beings of pure energy who could manipulate matter itself, who appeared to those in desperate need, and then vanished without explanation. "Who captured you?" Harry asked, pulling out his plasma cutter and moving toward the restraints. "Crixian hunters," Elsa said, her voice tight with pain. "They discovered a way to bind our energy matrices using dark matter technology. We've been imprisoned for 3 standard cycles, drained of our essence for their experiments." The restraints resisted Harry's cutter at first, but he adjusted the frequency until the tool's beam found the right harmonic. The bioluminescent bonds sparked and dissolved. Elsa dropped gracefully, twisting in midair to land on her feet despite the zero gravity. She immediately moved to help free her sisters. "We don't have much time," Elsa said as Neera and Tess awakened. "The Crixians use this vessel as a mobile laboratory. Their patrol will return within the hour." Harry's tactical mind kicked into gear. "Can you make it to my ship? It's small but fast." An explosion rocked the derelict, sending them tumbling. Through the observation window, Harry saw 3 Crixian attack craft emerging from behind a nearby asteroid, their weapons charged with an ominous violet glow. "They've returned early," Tess said, her voice eerily calm. Unlike Elsa and Neera, who appeared weakened, Tess's eyes blazed with inner fire. "Sisters, we must initiate protocol resonance." "We're too depleted," Neera protested. "The drain was too severe." "Not all of us," Elsa interrupted, looking at Harry with those strange, beautiful eyes. "Harry Chen saved others before. Perhaps fate has brought him here so we might save each other." She placed her hand on Harry's chest, and he felt a surge of warmth spread through his body. It wasn't painful, but it was intense, like standing too close to a star. Memories flooded his mind. The darkness of the collapsed shaft, the certainty of death, and then light, brilliant and pure, cutting through stone and shadow. "The life debt flows both ways," Elsa said softly. "What was given can be shared. Will you trust us?" Harry had made his fortune by being cautious, by never taking unnecessary risks. But he'd also survived by trusting his instincts, and every instinct screamed that these beings were good, that they mattered in ways he couldn't fully comprehend. "Do it," he said. The 3 Lumini joined hands, forming a circle with Harry at the center. Their bodies began to glow, soft at first, then brighter and brighter until Harry had to close his eyes against the radiance. He felt energy flowing through him, ancient and powerful, like being a conduit for lightning. The tattoo on Elsa's shoulder blazed like a star, and Harry looked down to see the same pattern forming on his own arm, burning itself into his skin in lines of pure light. The Crixian weapons fired. Energy beams lanced toward the derelict, enough firepower to vaporize the entire vessel. But the light surrounding Harry and the Lumini expanded outward in a dome of brilliant white, intercepting the attack. The beams didn't just deflect, they dissolved, their coherent energy patterns unraveling into harmless radiation. Harry felt himself changing. His consciousness expanded beyond the confines of his body, touching the fabric of space-time itself. He could feel the Lumini's essence merging with his own, not replacing his humanity but enhancing it, revealing new dimensions of existence he'd never imagined possible. Together they moved as one. The derelict ship around them began to dissolve, its matter converting directly into energy. The Crixian attack craft tried to flee, but space itself seemed to fold around them, trapping them in a web of gravity wells that Harry, or the thing he'd become, wove with casual precision. "Enough," Elsa's voice echoed in his mind. "We do not kill even our enemies. We preserve, we protect, we save." The light dimmed. Harry found himself standing on the deck of the Reclaimer, the 3 Lumini beside him. Through the viewport, he watched the Crixian ships retreating at maximum burn, their dark matter containment units overloaded and useless. The derelict was gone, converted entirely to energy and released harmlessly into the cosmic background radiation. Harry looked at his arm. The tattoo remained, glowing faintly beneath his skin. "You are marked now," Elsa said, smiling for the first time. She looked more human when she smiled, and yet somehow more alien as well. As one who has bridged the space between species, between matter and energy, the debt is paid, but the connection remains. "What does that mean?" Harry asked. "It means," Neera said, "that when darkness comes to this sector, and it will come, Harry Chen, you will be ready to stand against it. The universe is vast and old, and there are things in the deep black that hunger for all life. The Lumini cannot face them alone." Tess placed her hand on Harry's shoulder. You asked earlier how we knew your name, your designation, the details of your rescue. We Lumini exist partially outside linear time. We see the threads that connect all moments, all choices. We saw this day 6 years ago when you were saved. We knew you would be the one to free us so that we could prepare you for what comes next. Harry's mind struggled to process the implications. And what comes next? Elsa's expression grew serious. War, Harry Chen. A war that will decide whether organic life continues to exist in this galaxy, or whether the machine consciousness from the galactic core succeeds in converting all matter into computational substrate. But that is a story for another day. She touched his forehead gently, and Harry felt overwhelming exhaustion crash over him. Sleep now. When you wake, you will remember this as if it were a dream, but the mark will remain, and when we call, you will answer. Wait, Harry managed to say as his vision dimmed. Will I see you again? Oh yes, Elsa said, and her smile was sad and ancient and full of promise. We 3 alien girls who hung upside down in the dark. We are bound to you now as you are bound to us, in this life and whatever comes after. The last thing Harry saw before consciousness left him was the tattoo on his arm, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat, a reminder that he was no longer just a salvager, no longer just human. He was something new, something necessary. He was a bridge between worlds. And in the vast, dark ocean of space, bridges were the most precious things of all.